I am Anil Kumar. Welcome to my series on rational functions. In this video, we'll discuss about rational inequality with the help of past test question. In case you want to learn from me, you can always send an email on the address given. The question here is, an owner of sports goods company estimates the revenue and cost functions for the production of new snowboard. These functions are r of x equals to minus x square plus 7x and c of x equals to 3x plus 3 respectively, where x is the number of snowboards produced in thousands. Part A. Break-even point is the production levels when revenue is equal to cost. Find minimum level of production for the break-even point. Part B. The average profit is defined by the function AP of x, which is equal to the profit P of x divided by x, where profit function P of x equals to R of x minus C of x. Determine the production level that makes average profit APX greater than 0. So in this question, we are given revenue and cost function. Profit is basically difference of revenue and cost. Break-even point is a level of production where the revenue equals to cost. So that is the first part. We need to figure out what is the minimum level of production for break-even point. And the second part here relates to average production levels, which is profit divided by the production level, and we want that to be greater than 0. So I hope the question is absolutely clear. I would like you to pause the video, answer the question, and then look into my suggestions. I have seen this question in past papers, and therefore its solution should help many students. So let's see what the break-even point could be. So break-even point is when the profit function is basically equal to 0. So that means that revenue minus the cost, that should be 0, right? We are given both these functions, revenue being minus x square plus 7x and the cost function 3x plus 3, so we'll take away 3x plus 3, and that should be equal to 0 for break-even point, correct? Now this is a quadratic equation which we can solve. We have minus x square, 7x minus 3x gives us 4x, and when you open the bracket we get minus 3, which should be equal to 0. Now you can factor this equation. You get what? You can take minus common, and then 3 is product of 3 and 1, and when you add them you get 4. So we can write this as x minus 3 times x minus 1, which is equal to 0. So basically from here we can say that the profit is 0 when x is equal to 3 or when x is equal to 1. Now in the question we are given that x is the number of snowboards produced in thousands, and we are looking for the minimum level of production for the break-even point, and therefore our answer should be what? So our answer will be, we need to produce 1,000 snowboards, right? So 1 means 1,000. So we need 1,000 snowboards. So that is how we can answer this particular question. So important is to note that we have to write the correct units produced in thousands and also only the minimum level, correct? So with that, we have solved part A. Now let's look into part B of this particular question. Now in part B, we have the average profit defined as the profit over x. So we'll use this particular expression and we want that to be greater than 0, right? So let's look into the average profit. We already have this particular expression which is minus x minus 3 times x minus 1 over x, and we want that to be greater than 0, correct? So that is the inequality which we need to solve. Now remember, in this case the value of x is greater than 0 also, right? Production level cannot be negative, so x is also 0. So we can solve it in a couple of ways. One of them is definitely the interval notation. Now to simplify this, as you can see, x is greater than 0. That means the numerator should be greater than 0 for the average profit to be greater than 0. So you can just solve the numerator. You could do that also, correct? So this is very important. So however, we'll use the interval table to solve this. As most of you have learned in this curriculum, let us see how do we use interval table. So we have discontinuities at 3 and 1. That gives us zeros, and x cannot be 0, right? So we are producing more than 0 items. So let's make a table. In this table, we'll take the levels as x equals to 1 and x equals to 3. So let's take a test point in these intervals. So let's say 0.5 could be a test point less than 1 but greater than 0. And then we can take 2 and 4. Now in these test points, we'll take the factors. One of them could be minus x minus 3. The other one we can take x minus 1, and the third one as x. So as you can clearly see, all the three values are positive, and therefore for x we are going to get positive values. Now for x minus 1, if I put zero point 0.5, I get minus 0.5. We are only interested in checking the sign. So we'll get negative here, and when we substitute 2 and 4, we get positive values. However, for minus of x minus 3, if I put minus 5.5, then I get a negative value, but with this negative, it makes it positive. So we get positive here with 2. 2 minus 3 is negative. However, we get positives because of the positive sign, negative sign outside. With 4, 4 minus 3 is positive, but multiplying with the negative number will make it negative. So if you analyze this, the only portion which gives you greater than 0 is right there. So on the multiplication, we get these values as negative, these values are positive, and that will be negative. And therefore, the solution is within the interval from 1 to 3. You get the idea. So therefore, we can write down our solution, and the solution is that the average profit level is greater than 0 in the interval from 1 to 3. That means the production level is between 1000 to 3000, correct? So we need to determine the production level that makes the profit greater than 0. So the production level will be between, let's say, X, let me write production level, will be between 1000 to 3000 snowboards. Is that clear to you? So that is how we are going to solve this particular question. Here is the solution in short for you. So what we really did was to find the value at which the profit is 0, we equated the equation difference of revenue and cost to 0. And once you equate this to 0, you get the solution as the production level of x equals to 1 and 3. That means 1000 and 3000. And we also found that this ratio is positive only in this particular interval. Now, to give you a better idea, here is a graph. So, we have the cost function which is linear. So, let me just highlight. So, we are given, let's begin with the revenue. Revenue, which is quadratic, is the parabola which is shown in red for you. That's the revenue function. The cost function is shown in blue, a straight line 3x plus 3, and the profit function, the difference between these two curves is shown in green here. And as you can very clearly see that this profit is positive only in the interval from the x value of 1 to 3. And since these are in thousands, the production level should be from 1000 to 3000. So that particular graph gives you a better visualization of the solution. So I hope that really helps. Feel free to write your comments, share your views, and if you like and subscribe to my videos, that would be great. You can always send an email on the address given if you want to learn from me. Thanks for your time and all the best.